27th is fast approaching, and we are not yet decided as to who is going to be our next president. And I guess there is a reason for that. In my opinion, the reason is because the two leading candidates, Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga, seem to be reading from the same script. They are two blackmailed politicians who cannot talk about some things because they may lose support. This is political blackmail with giant KAriuki and the voice of the citizen. Thank you and welcome. Raila told us a few weeks ago that he will let even the most corrupt men be in his party, and when they get there, they will confess of their political sins, and then they will be forgiven. Kibaki, on the other hand, said that they will get there. First, we do the election, and then he will make sure that this time he will not put corrupt men in positions of power. Those are the same words from two different people who want us to believe that they are different. But what is their problem? Their problem is the presence of Kanu in their wardrobes. Kanu, like I've said so many times, and so many other people have said, has blackmailed these men. Kanu has the script. Kanu has the full evidence of how corrupt these men are. That is why Moi can very easily send Mudavadi, one of his favorite sons, is like his son, to be ODM's vice president. That base is covered. He can send Uhuru the other way. That base is covered. And of course, he has Kalonzo in his pocket. These men are completely blackmailed. None can talk about corruption because they are surrounded by the corrupt. None can talk about the political murders that we have seen since independence because they are surrounded by those people who committed some of these crimes. None has the moral authority to talk about land, even when we have even begun to see the return of tribal crisis in some parts of the country. None has the moral authority to talk about the tribal crisis. Why? Because the people who were fighting people in the Rift Valley and elsewhere are on their sides as political allies. I mean, what these men want us to believe is that it doesn't matter. As long as you are headed to heaven, the devil can be your ally. That is wrong. There is something terribly wrong with that. That now, the only choice we have is between the wolf and the fox. Here comes the voice of the people. And the voice of the people, remember, is the voice of God. When we have so many other political parties, of course, I'm not talking about Kenda, because Kamlesh Patini is also another blackmailer. This is a man who was in the heart of all the scandals that Kanu is accused of. And now he has a political party that can field more candidates than even Kanu. Why? Kanu can't speak. Kanu cannot speak because it knows clearly that if it dare say something, Kamlesh Patini will release the tapes. We will see them going for money. In fact, even some of the smaller parties that we seem to be flocking to cannot speak because their leaders are in those tapes. They are blackmailed people. When Moi got out of power, one of the greatest assets that he retained was a man named Mutua, who is his personal lawyer that he nominated to parliament. Because our parliament has become a house where you can wash yourself of all the dirt that you may have. Our courts of law have become the same thing, that all you need to do is present yourself to court, and then the judges will be told how to rule, and you are clean. For as long as the judge does not pronounce you guilty, then you are clean. You can come back into parliament, you can come back into our politics, and continue politics as usual. This must stop. For us, the citizens, this is what we need to do. We need to vote out everybody associated with Kanu. Now, we need to vote out the Uhurus, because Uhuru, remember, said this very clearly, that it is his intention to be in the next government. Well, he didn't tell us which government, but it is because he knows either way, it's a win-win for him. If ODM wins, Mudavadi will invite his former boss. If PNU wins, of course, Uhuru will go and invite his juniors, the Rutos and the Mudavadis. If Kalonzo wins, and I guess he's not going to win, and it is very important to write his political eulogy right now because he's politically dead, we can say Kalonzo was found hanging on a knowledge tree. Cause of death, political suicide. Let us join in large numbers the other political parties, the small parties, such that if there are memorandums of understandings to be signed, they will sign them in parliament after they are elected by the people, not before, and not under the table. They will sign them when we have elected them, and we will tell them what to do. These people are blackmailed. We need to liberate ourselves by looking for good men in all these political parties. We have hundreds and hundreds of men and women who are running for election. They are good people. We need to look for the right candidates, irrespective of party, and this is the wave that seems to be taking root in Kenya, and it is the right thing to do. Do not be afraid. Men of small parties, we are relying on you. Run throughout the land and convince Kenyans that Kanu remains our greatest enemy. And if we let the enemy back, it will be a big mistake. It is Uhuru's father who told us, never, ever give to a hyena twice. Do not do it, my fellow Kenyans.